Thanks for the support as a channel member, Ollie Gunnock fam. Boys and girls, this is one of those episodes where everybody who's ever accused me of reloading in Football Manager, this kind of episode is the proof that I don't. We avoided relegation off camera. So it's happened. We've avoided relegation. Sorry, I didn't know it was going to happen off camera. What we have got is the final couple of games of the season and lots of transfers that are already prearranged. So there's still goodies here, but the actual moment happened off camera because... Hello and welcome to Club 2, part 27 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our final two games of the Premier League season away against both Spurs and Leeds. And as you can see, since you were last with me, we have avoided relegation for the Premier League. We're well clear now. It actually happened a couple of matches ago. It was somewhere in this losing or this run of not winning. Something happened in one of the other games. I forget exactly when or where it was, but basically we got the notification through between matches. It wasn't actually even while we were playing, so it wasn't that it was off camera, it was also between matches. I was trying to time it so the moment could happen on camera, but sometimes the nature of never reloading in these saves means that you do miss those moments. And at the end of the day, it's not like you missed a trophy lift. I think it was pretty, I don't know, was it pretty clear yesterday or Friday? What day is it? It's January. Days don't mean anything. But it was, I was fairly confident we were going to be staying up in the previous episode, and we have now done it. And then since then, we've suddenly got super happy and have won two matches. We've beaten Newcastle, we've beaten Leicester, and it seems that the weight of potential relegation being lifted off our shoulders has turned us into quite a good team. And we're currently in 12th place. We could finish potentially as high as 11th, or as low as probably 15th, 16th, still depending on how these last couple of matches go. But we have started spending some money. We don't actually have next season's money yet, although we've already spent a lot of the minimum guaranteed money, and we did that deliberately. That was with a purpose. The purpose being, if we got relegated, we didn't know the calibre of kind of players we'd be able to bring in, so I wanted to sign some players now, so that if we were relegated, we still had good players coming in the summer. So as you can see, there's quite a few of them. Some of them we already knew about. So you already knew about Zaruki. He's a mistake, and that deal is now confirmed. The £8 million that we're paying for him, he is definitely joining us in the summer because we avoided relegation. You also know about Poco as well, who's come in and been quite an important player for us, not necessarily as a starter, but offering us at something a little bit different. He's done that throughout the season, and I have enjoyed his work. Outside of them, though, you can see there's a lot of young players. A lot of these are lifted straight off of the next gen list. As soon as that came in, we got that scouted and made sure that we were able to pick some goodies off of there. And this is probably the one I'm most excited about. Agustin Quintana is a 20-year-old Uruguayan goalkeeper, capped at under 23 level, who is much better than Bender, much better than Trafford. He's already a decent Premier League player, and he's going to get better. He's only 20 years old. He's going to be a full Uruguayan international, I'm sure, but we are going to have a real goalkeeper next year. And I'm very excited about it. But then we also brought in some young defenders. Some of these aren't off the... I mean, this guy's not off the next gen list. He just came up on my scout reports and was a bargain. We needed a right back. He can cover right back and left back. Andy Gallagher, 20-year-old Scottish under-21 international, who joins us for around about £1 million, I think, can play either side at fullback, has been out on loan in the Championship with Ipswich this season. And at 20 years old, I think he's one who can be a backup for now and eventually step up to compete at first team level. Sean Potter, similar situation, but exchange right back for centre back in Manchester United for Chelsea. And we get this guy. He's an England under-21 international who, again, has got decent potential. He's been out on loan in the Championship, had a loan with Huddersfield. He's cheap, only costing us £300,000. So he's coming in as well. And then this guy was off the next gen list. Dan Ianita. I always say these Romanian names wrong, so let me know down in the comment section how to say it right, and I'll probably ignore you, but at least we all tried. But he's 19 years old, has already played 6 times for Romania. He is a very good left back. We probably are a little bit overloaded with left backs with him coming in. It might mean the end for Thomas Galvez, but he comes in for around about £3.9 million. And then we move into the midfield, or we've got more players come in. We obviously already know about Zaruki and Roman, but these other two, I think this guy is off the next gen. I think he was too old. He was just scouted separately. So Oscar is a 21-year-old Spanish under-21 international defensive midfielder who is, I mean, he's another one. He's got lots of potential, relatively cheap. Been playing for Espanyol in the second tier in Spain. Actually had a season in La Liga for Espanyol as well before they got relegated. He comes in for £5 million. And then we've also got Mohamed Amin Adala, who is a 20-year-old Tunisian international, can play as the attacking midfielder, can play on the right wing. He's 6'3". You know I like a big boy. And he's another one with lots of potential. Played a little bit for Bologna in Serie A this season. And then we are still trying to get one more over the finish line, which would be Diego Solari, who is an Argentinian under-20 international striker who can also play either wing, in behind the striker, or left wing back, because why wouldn't he be able to play left wing back? He's a striker who wears the number 6. That appeals to me. We're still waiting for him to be fully scouted before we confirm. But if he's anywhere near the top of these ranges for his acceleration, his natural fitness, his finishing, he is definitely the kind of guy I want to have at my football club. He hasn't exactly scored goals for fun in his career. I suspect he's not been playing as a striker very much for San Lorenzo, but he should be coming in for around about £6 million. We should also, at some point during today's episode, find out our actual transfer budgets for next season. Now, there is a chance with all that spending, because that is £16 million up front, 35 million overall of spending. There is a chance we won't get a transfer budget for the summer off the back of the players we've already done. And if that's the case, I'm probably comfortable with that, because we have already got a lot of good quality players coming in. But I think staying in the Premier League should lead to us getting some spensies, because I think that minimum transfer budget was probably based on, even if you get relegated, you're getting this, but you stayed up, so here's some more money. That's what I'm hoping for. I've hopefully not ruined the transfer special. But let's play the 2 matches, enjoy this group of players potentially for the last time, because there's going to be some of these guys who are definitely going to be getting upgraded off the back of this. We're rotating a little bit as well to look at some of the fringe players. So the likes of Trafford, Galvez, Stevanovic, Stewart, getting game time that they haven't really had this season. Just, I mean, it helps with making those final decisions on who gets to stick around and who doesn't, with 6 or 7 players already due to come in, and theoretically as many again if we manage to get some actual budget through. We'll probably go a little bit lighter on the Never Never with the next batch. We like I say, we wanted to make sure that we had a team that was ready to win the championship again next year and come back up relatively easily. And I think those transfers we've made would do that. But now it's all about trying to establish ourselves in the Premier League, I guess. We're probably going to be finishing mid-table, lower mid-table. That's a platform to build from. Obviously, long term, in order to be able to build anything, we need to literally build a new stadium. So I still don't know that I'm going to be sticking around at Burton for the long term, unless they announce a new stadium this summer and decide they're going to name it after me. We're probably going to be looking to move on. But we've got to do our best for the club, and that's a good save from Trafford. I tell you what, maybe James Trafford should have played a little bit more often this season. I'm judging that off that one save that we've just seen him make. But it was a good save. He seems like a big boy as well. There's a lot of him, and that's a header from the Spurs player that goes just over. Obviously, we would very much like to act as spoilers for Spurs and stop them getting into Europe. It's always good fun to mess with Spurs, and as I'm saying it, they score against me, although I think it might be getting disallowed. The referee has got his finger in his ear. Come on, referee, do the right thing. He has done the right thing. It's been disallowed. I think Leicester are able to overtake Spurs if we were to beat them. They're 2 points behind at the moment. I mean, it's very unlikely we're going to beat them. Well, like I say, we have been in pretty decent form since securing our place in the Premier League for next season. We've just got good again. It was almost like a switch was flicked, and all of the struggle went away because, oh, well, there's no jeopardy now. Let's just get back to being quite good at football. I mean, you've seen it there. First to the ball for Galvez. That's our backup left back. He'll be our third choice left back next year. We've never been first to the ball all season long, but we were there. because we can be now, apparently. Popov plays it into Vidovic, and Vidovic looks like he did in the Championship again. And this is what I'm talking about. You take away the pressure, and all of a sudden, we're not rubbish anymore. It's 1-0 to Burton. We're hanging out here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and trying to ruin their year. And that's one of my favourite pastimes. 1-0 up. What are Leicester doing? Come on, Leicester. Don't let us down. Leicester, they play Leeds later on today. But I mean, Arsenal are lurking as well. Potentially, Arsenal could also leapfrog Spurs here. Arsenal are playing. Arsenal are at home to Bournemouth right now. So if Arsenal get their act together, we're offering them the opportunity to finish above Spurs here, which you would think is an opportunity that they'd want to take. But at the moment, they're not, the silly gooses. But the other thing, of course, as well, is just generally messing with Tottenham. Beating a team like this and seeing them not qualify for Europe, it's opening up potential jobs for the summer. I mean, mentioning Leicester, mentioning Arsenal, these are clubs that would be, I mean, anyone who's finishing just above us, maybe in a disappointing spot. Looking at can you just let me see the league table? Leicester, Arsenal, maybe not Wolves, but Everton are in their new ground now. Any of those three would be a nice little step up if we were to stay in the Premier League. We're not necessarily married to the idea of sticking in the Premier League. I mean, Villa or West Ham, if either of them manage to survive, they're decent jobs. Leeds is a decent job. Even Sunderland is a club that, based on the size of the stadium, there's definitely potential there at Sunderland. So there are potential jobs that might open up off the back of league positions that we still get to have some say in. Now, I'm not saying I'm definitely going to be job hunting in the summer unless something really, really, really tempting comes up. But as I think I mentioned in the last episode, I'm making myself aware of opportunities that might be available, because getting a team the size of Burton into the Premier League, keeping them in the Premier League, getting a bunch of wonder kids ready to come in and play for them next season, we really are at the point where we've done as much as we possibly can for Burton. In order to take this team to the next level, get them into Europe, get them competing for trophies, we need a new stadium, and a new stadium is 5 years away, at least. Even if we announce it this summer, it'll be an announcement that we're starting to look for a location, and then there'll be the planning process. Then they'll be actually building the thing. So even if we announce it this summer, it's 5 years before we move into it, and by then it probably won't be big enough because we'll have moved on again. So it kind of slows the whole career progress down, sticking with Burton at this point. So we're looking, but not looking. You get the idea. We're tentatively looking. Vidovic has picked up a knock here, so we probably should take him off. It's a game that doesn't really mean anything. Let's not risk breaking any of our players. Poco can come on. We're also going to take off Ross Stewart and give young Lewis Cherrett an appearance. He's played a couple of games recently. He was out on loan earlier in the season. You might remember him from a couple of years ago as the guy who scored for Newcastle and then came into our team in League One and scored for us immediately as well. He spent most of the last 2 years out on loan, not really scoring goals, but he's here now, so let's give him some game time. O'Donoghue is going to come off for Jack Clayton as well, who hasn't had as many opportunities this season as he probably would have liked, but these last couple of matches, these are his opportunity to show that he's got a future as a Premier League player, and I don't know that he has, which is a little bit sad, but there is Poco bursting through, squares it to Cherrett, and Lewis Cherrett has got a goal. Another Premier League goal for him, because obviously he had those ones for Newcastle back in the day. He is very much a finisher. If you give that boy chances, he will score goals, and that's a perfect demonstration of it there. Poco showing why I've enjoyed him so much coming off the bench, because he's just so different to every other attacker that we've got, and that's a lovely finish from Cherrett. He finished that like a Premier League player. I mean, this team are a bunch of rascals, aren't they? We've come to Tottenham. This will be 3 Premier League wins in a row, which we've never done before. I don't know why it's happening after we've already secured promotion. Promotion? Safety. Can we get promoted? Maybe the Super League's a thing and we can get promoted to that. Has that happened yet? Let's hope not, eh? Right, let's take Stevanovic off, who is tiring. Joe Powell, another one who's probably coming to the end of his time at the club. I think this is his testimonial year. We might let him get through his testimonial in the summer and then move him on, because he's, as much as we love him, he's not really part of the future of the club anymore, is he? So it might be time for him to go and move on to pastures new and finish off his career back down in League One, where it's probably more his level. Maybe a championship club will give him an offer, but I think he's kind of played out of his skin the last few years for us in the Championship, in the Premier League. And I think if you give him to a lesser manager, a manager not up to my standards, he's probably a League One player, isn't he? Spurs, at the third attempt, have actually had a VAR goal given, so we might not even end up beating them yet. We've weakened the team a lot with these substitutions, so they might even somehow manage to salvage something from this. As it stands right now, Arsenal are leapfrogging above them, so we need to cling on, really. Although I'm in two minds. I would rather, and I don't know if I'm even someone who'd be considered for these jobs. I'd much rather manage Arsenal than Spurs. So I guess we're better off with Arsenal finishing below Spurs, because then the manager's more likely to be sacked. And it looks like we're going to get our wish, because Spurs have grabbed the late equaliser. It's 2-2 now. I think we probably made one too many substitutions. And I think that does put them back above Arsenal with one game to go. So I don't know if either of those managers are likely to get sacked. And I don't know if I would get either job if they were, but it would be fun. So final game of the season, away against Leeds, and we're giving a couple of other players a little bit of a look as well. Alex Jimenez, remember him? We signed him from Real Madrid, and this might be his first start. No, he started 4 games previously. He's almost certainly not going to be good enough, but let's have a look at him. We're also looking at Xavier Simons, who we signed off of Hull, and he never really broke into the team, so he's probably someone we'll be looking to move on this summer. Poco's going to get a start, Stevanovic gets a start, and of course Miles Leaburn back in the team for the final day of the season to try and get him up into that second place spot on the Premier League top scorers. As we've mentioned before, it very much is the era of the meaty boys. And at the moment, Evan Ferguson, in his capacity as a meaty boy, has moved past Leaburn. So we need a couple of goals for Leaburn today to get our meaty boy back into that list of meaty boys, that top 3 list. But it certainly seems to be the only way to get a player to score consistent goals is to have him be a big meaty boy. And of course, Leeds have got the best named new gen in all of Football Manager, who I would love to sign Saturday, Sunday up front for them. So I shouldn't leave that on screen too long, because Out of Context Football will steal it on Twitter. But we'd love to sign him because his name is great. Powell, with the cross, looking for Leaburn. It's nowhere near him. It actually ends up with Sousa, and Sousa has scored, although the referee has got his finger in his ear. So this might not be given. And I mean, it feels good to me. It feels like a goal. It should be given. It has been given. Lovely stuff. The Joe Powell longish throw. Jackson plays it back to him. The big deep cross from Powell, who, I mean, it looked like he was aiming for Sousa, which would be a weird thing to do. How tall is Sousa? Sousa he's only 5'11". That's not enough human to be aiming crosses for when we've got Miles Leaburn. We had Jackson forward. We had Leaburn in there as well. And we've aimed for the guy who's not even 6 foot tall. He's scored. So I guess we can't fault the logic, but we're going to try again with another long throw here. It's going to be Powell again. And once again, we've got Jackson stood on that near post, plays it back to Powell. There's the cross, and there's Poco. And we've scored from 2 long throws. Long throws are back, boys and girls. I won several streamer showdowns back in the day with long throws. I mean, they're not the same, are they? They're not acting like corners, but certainly the long throw, the play back to Powell and the cross has been incredible for us today. We've scored twice in the first 20 minutes of the game. Now we're going to try and add a corner to it as well. In swinging corner, it ends up falling to Simons, who can't properly get it under control. And here's Jimenez, who's going to look to whip across a cross, and he does. And Alfie Devine it's only his 5th goal of the season, not quite the goal-scoring exploits of last year from Devine, but Jimenez not looking rubbish. All these players are looking like world beaters. I don't understand how we're suddenly so good. Can we just, if we could have it so that we were guaranteed we can't be relegated, so the pressure was off all year, we could qualify for Europe. It's absolute madness. As it stands as well, Arsenal back up above Spurs, so that has potential impacts on potential jobs that might be available in the summer. That was a good attempt from Poco as well. It's tipped over the crossbar by the Leeds keeper, but we've now got another set piece. It's a corner, an in-swinger from Stevanovic. We've got men lurking in the middle again. It falls to Powell, and it's a lovely effort from him, and another good save from the Leeds keeper, and we've got another corner. We are absolutely bombarding them with set pieces here. Stevanovic. Once again, far post now, looking for Leeburn. It's the crossbar, and he can't turn in the rebound, but Leeburn very nearly adding to his tally for the season with his big, meaty, muscular body. Spurs are losing at home to Sunderland. They deserve to not be in Europe if they're going to lose at home to Sunderland. We lost at home to Sunderland on the first day of the season, and we're not in Europe. So it seems fair. Are we only getting set-piece highlights today? There's Leeburn again from the corner. It falls to Powell again, who hits the crossbar again. Joe Powell, I think, senses that this might be his last game for the club and is playing absolutely out of his skin. Captain's armband on probably for the last time as well. That's 2 assists. He's come so close twice over to grabbing himself a goal. Joe Powell is playing like a man possessed. I mean, if ever anyone could use one performance to try and convince me they should still be at the club next year, Joe Powell might be doing that today, because he is ripping Leeds apart with this set-piece delivery. It's beautiful stuff. And now Leeds this is the first highlight of the game that hasn't been a set-piece. They're just trying to get some control of the match, control of the football. But there's an hour gone and they're 3 goals down at home. How much control are they going to be able to exert, really? Answer is, not very much. Get Leeburn on the end of one of these. We need Leeburn to grab a couple of goals. All these set pieces, and our big boy hasn't scored yet, and it's not acceptable. We're trying to catch Evan Ferguson here. Simon's looking good as a holding midfield player. Everybody is playing well in these last couple of matches. And look at Joe Powell go. Plays it into Leeburn. Leeburn can't quite get it past the keeper. I think he's offside anyway. It's been given as a free kick. We have been absolutely sensational today. Leeds can't get relegated, but goodness me, are they playing like they should be? Poco with the in-swinger now from this side, from the far side, sorry. It falls to Leeburn. Stevanovic. Poco again. Poco cuts it back, sticks it in the top corner. Less than £1 million that man has cost us. What a little cult hero he's becoming. Maybe we should start starting him a bit more often. Him coming in off that right-hand side on that left foot is beautiful. Look at it. He wasn't even looking the right way. Just dinks past his man. Lovely finish. He's a messy new gen, I've decided. 4-0 up now. What a lovely last couple of games of the season this has been. Right, we're going to leave Leeburn on because we want him to have the opportunity to try and get into the top 3 for the Golden Boot. We will bring on Zaruki because we've got to use him. He's here next year. We'll change the 2 centre-backs as well. Kitching and Lemkin are probably going to be moving on, I think. We would certainly like to upgrade them. A lot depends on what we might get in the way of transfer budget. If we can get 20 or 30 million pounds worth of transfer budget, which we will find out before the end of the video, hopefully. But if we can get 20 or 30 million, then I certainly think we need to be upgrading the entire defence. Ross Stewart is going to come on and play up alongside Leeburn. Another one, almost certainly a final appearance for the club for Ross Stewart, who, like Joe Powell, has been with us all the way through from the National League, not from the National League, from League Two, all the way into the Premier League. They've contributed to this season, but they're both in their 30s. They are our 2 team leaders, but I think we probably need to. I'd love to transition both of them into coaching roles. Maybe not make Stuart the fitness coach, but I'd want them to stick around. They should both be on the club legends list, and I suspect they're probably not, but they're the only 2 men in the history of this football club that'll ever be able to say they played for us in all 4 divisions. Are they on the legends list? They're not. They're not. Ross Stewart's on the favoured personnel. Joe Powell, after 10 years and 4 divisions, isn't even on the favoured personnel list. What has that boy got to do? Right, let's just hit, I think, one more continue, and we should get our budgets. We don't have them yet. It's a minimum guaranteed budget, 2.5 million, and a wage budget of 800,000. Fingers crossed with a continue. we get our budgets. Maybe one more continue. Maybe one more continue. Are we going to get the budgets or are we going to have to wait? We might have to wait here. We've done a record high. Yeah, squad planner, all good. Are we going to find... We're going to do one more continue. Otherwise... there we go. I knew they were coming eventually. So, budgets. Am I enough of a monster to just make... You're coming back tomorrow anyway, I've decided. If this is the dream, the perfect scenario here, 30 million of transfer budget and £1 million a week of wage budget. I think I'm being a little ambitious, but that's what we're hoping for here. 850,000 wage budget, 38 million of transfer budget. Now, if we stick that to make that the million that I wanted, it is almost exactly what I wanted. 28.5 million of transfer budget, $1 million in wage budget. Remember, we've already got all these boys already coming, and we can spend another £30 million now. Tomorrow is going to be a transfer special, a special transfer special. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.